Recording in progress. I'm a total pro. I'm telling you, Howard. I've
Look
done
at
this
you. Look at you,
at
Mr.
least.
Grown Up. That's
I've done
fantastic.
this 4 times before, at least. So I'm completely prepared.
Preceded me.
Sorry.
Who preceded me?
Oh, well, Karen Green, of course.
Okay.
Young Master Robbie Bush, who we went to.
Dinner
Sammy's.
at Lonsman Country.
Exactly. Who else? Some students I had in Europe. A psychodrama therapist. Yeah. I mean, I'm covering all the bases, man. I'm I'm doing it. And now, it's all leading up to Howard Chaykin. So this is exciting for me. I gotta tell you, I'm not to be too, affectionate or anything like that. Let's talk. So the last time, I mean, you just say if this is stupid or not. Just tell me what, because I just want to chat. We're just chatting. We're doing.
Stop vacillating, and enough with the vacillation. Dive in.
Okay.
Let's rock and roll.
Last time I saw you, we went to the theater.
Oh, what a terrible experience that was.
What did we see? I don't even remember.
Which everybody else loved but us.
Yeah, I didn't like that show.
I found it obvious, lumbering, and pretentious in the service of, it was. I was reminded of. I mean, you turned to me during and said, "Did these people not go to high school?" At a certain point, because they were shocked at what happened to Eurydice. I was in London about 2 years later, and we saw the stage production of Witness of the Prosecution.
Okay.
Mounted in a London courthouse, and I realized halfway through it that I was the only one in the theater who'd seen the movie.
Okay.
So we were in that same basic park. I mean, I love Andre de Shields. I love Patrick Page, but I found Hadestown just so overpraised and so self-important and blown up. Like, shut the fuck up already.
Yeah, it wasn't my thing. But then again, I'm not. To me. Oh, I told you that I recorded with a drama psychotherapist, and she loves New Broadway. And I'm like, we would work out at the same gym, and she would beg them to play like, whatever the newest, like the Six or whatever the newest show is. And I'm like, can we just play something from like Pal Joey or like Oklahoma, because that's Broadway to me. Because I don't know, I'm old, but you're of.
I love both. I truly do.
So where does your interest in let's just be more broad. Where does your interest in theater come from? And then we'll get to musical theater.
Okay. I'm 13 years old, and my parents have my mother has fled my father, and I'm being raised badly by a single mom and two brothers. And my godmother, my Aunt Ree, takes me to see my first show, which is 1964. I'm 13, and I don't recall whether it was Carousel or Kismet, one of those, or The King and I, rather. And
those are all good shows.
They were basically what ultimately became traveling shows. My wife, who was at that point living in the Valley, saw the same productions I had with the same cast.
Okay.
And I was staggered by this shit. I mean, it just knocked the shit out of me. And then a little bit later, I saw Enter Laughing.
Okay.
Alan Arkin, and I happened to be reading Catch 22 at the time.
Okay.
I was 13, and I always read beyond my pay grade. And I said, "This guy is Yossarian. Holy fuck!" It was like, the movie is terrible. I mean, Catch 22 is an unwatchable picture.
I don't think I've ever seen it, actually.
Talk about lumbering. It should be ashamed of itself.
Yeah, something kept me away from it.
Yeah, actually, the television series adaptation that George Clooney and Grant Heslov did was vastly better.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Much more subtle in its adaptation.
Okay, wait. I'm going to stop you there, though. Go back. Let's go back a second. What drew you into like Kismet or whichever show you were seeing? What was it that
the live experience? I remember getting into a whole big frou-frou with a colleague of mine many years ago who explained to me that movies were much more realistic than stage plays, and that completely obviates and ignores the presence of flesh and blood actors. The idea that once that proscenium arch exists, you are in another magical, realistic landscape. And yes, people burst into song, but comic books when I hear comic book people reject this shit, it's just like, get over yourself, you know. And it's
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love. I mean, the production of Carousel that I saw starred John Raitt recreating the role that he had played 20 years earlier as Billy Bigelow in the original production of Carousel in
Okay.
1940. Carousel is a show that will likely never be produced again.
Mm.
And it's oddly enough, it's one of the shows that I've seen a lot of productions of because there were a number of great productions of it.
Okay.
Uh, but in the current in the current social climate, its narrative content is a trigger for too many people. And
How so? I
well,
can't think of
the
what.
character basically Billy Bigelow is a scumbag and a wife beater who dies and comes back
Oh,
from
that.
and slaps his wife, and she accepts it as
Right.
love. Now, the last production of this I saw was with Jesse Mueller as Julie Jordan and Joshua Henry
Okay.
as I'm seeing Josh Henry in 2 weeks in New York, 3 weeks rather, in playing Coalhouse Walker in Ragtime,
Okay.
and it was an astonishing production. Uh,
Okay.
Rennie Fleming as, June is busting out all over, that kind of shit. And it just the very presence of light. And we were in nosebleed seats. I mean, Christ, it was just like I was in Connecticut watching this thing, and it was just like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Okay.
And I just loved it. And I many years later, I was in London. I was staying at a hotel that I could no longer afford, but I was only in town for one night. I'd done a show in Birmingham, England, in Bristol rather. And I'd taken a
Okay.
train spend the night in the city. And we stayed at the Covent Garden Hotel, which was beyond my price range in those days. But what the fuck? When I was in TV, I stayed there all the time. And
Sure.
I sat down in the lobby. My wife went across the street to one of the consignment shops. The street was packed with consignment. It's on Monmouth in London. And at the desk was Nita Jacobson, who was had done coverage for Joel Silver at Joel Silver's company on Black Kiss back in the late '80s, which cracked me up. She'd just been let go. She's the producer of all the Mockingbird J movies, whatever that shit is.
Okay.
She's the anti-hero lesbian of the first order.
Okay.
And I turned next to me, and Stephen Sondheim was sitting next to me in the lobby. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, and
What do you say to Stephen Sondheim when you're?
I'll tell you what I said to Stephen Sondheim. What I said to Stephen Sondheim, I mean, Stephen Sondheim is like, a central figure in the mandala of my life.
As
And
well, he should be.
Mr. Sondheim, my name is Howard Chaykin. I'm a cartoonist of some renown and a comic book artist as well. And I said, unlike most of my colleagues who are influenced by professional wrestling, I'm influenced by the American musical theater, and I hate my mother too. And which is good. I got to laugh,
That's
and
good.
so that's the deal.
Okay.
And that was, my fanboy moment. I'm entitled now.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's pretty cool. How does it affect your work? How does it influence your work?
Well, I mean, for me, the perfect musical comedy is Guys and Dolls.
Okay.
And I've seen bad productions of it. I've seen really wretched productions of Guys and Dolls.
Okay.
How you fuck it up is beyond my ken. I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's
How?
perfect. It's a
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
phenomenal score, which Sam Goldwyn ignores from the movie. He cast the movie miserably.
I like
Um,
that. I know. I agree. I like that. I still like that movie. It's probably because
yeah, because you get to see the original cast playing all the
yeah.
other.
Well, yeah, and it's the score is amazing.
You get to see, Danny Drayton and and all these cats, all these old guys.
Yeah.
Stubby K,
Yep.
But it's perfect, and because it is the most, without being symmetrical, the most perfectly balanced comic romance and real romance narrative available in such movies, in
Okay.
such,
Yeah.
and it also tells its story textually, visually, narratively, and musically.
Okay.
And one of the things about comics that I love the most is show not tell. And I've been accused of writing over the head of my audience, and I take that very seriously as a sign of an acknowledgement of, yes, that's exactly what I do, because the audience is unfortunately too often satisfied with being told how it should feel about shit.
Right.
And I'm not interested in doing that. I don't feel the need to justify my work. The work speaks for itself, and
Yeah.
I like the idea of it. a visual narrative. My job, when I hear a comic book writer refer to the person who's drawing the book as his artist, I recognize that I'm dealing with someone who regards chattel as a perfectly acceptable way to deal with professional life, and that
Uh,
he's full of that Stan Lee bullshit of art chores, as if it's labor and he's management. He can, in the words of so many great professionals, suck my dick from an enormous distance. This is just nonsense.
I think that's. I mean, hold on a second. Let me show you something. I read this last night, um, and just because I just got it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to talk to Howard tomorrow. And I have to admit, like, I was reading Monarch Starstalker, and I was thinking, like, you know, okay, this is a Marvel comic, but it's so much better. Not to diss anybody, but it's like it's not Bill Mantlo. It's like, and no,
Mantlo's crippled now, so you can't make fun of him.
nothing against Bill Mantlo. I mean, I could choose any
There's
other
a lot
man.
against Bill Mantlo. There's lots against Bill Mantlo.
But it's like, it is. It's like it's just more intelligently written. I mean,
Well, you
and
have to understand though, that was the first thing that got Stan to speak to me.
what did you
How much,
say?
how much he
He
hated,
he hates his mother.
hated just everything about this book. Stop with that Alex Toast shit.
All right. Okay.
He was a sophisticated guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But so what else? So is it just musical theater, or is it like just Shakespeare, or like any other, or
Oh, no,
just straight
I mean,
theater?
I love stage. I love stage drama. I mean,
Okay.
I also love stage comedy. I mean, when I was in New York in August. I took my grandson to New York in July, and then I went to New York in August, and I'm going back in October this month.
Hmm.
And I saw Oh Mary, which just killed me. Just,
Okay.
and I'd seen Jinx Monsoon a month earlier in Pirates. We had tickets to see Dead Outlaw, which closed before it found an audience. I wanted to see that because of David Cromer. I love David Cromer's work so much. Cromer's the guy who directed that brilliant version of Our Town some years back.
Okay. Okay.
Broke me. I mean, we never got to see it in New York at the Barrow Street. We saw it at the Broad in Los Angeles in Santa Monica. And have you
Okay.
seen?
No.
Oh, oh.
No, I'm not as much a theater person. I mean, I like
You
it, but
Joey Cavalieri for insisting I see this.
okay.
Uh, the woman who played the lead on the female lead on Crazy for You or Married Mean Men for Each Other. What was that? Paul Reiser.
Oh, Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt played the stage manager. And if we take Cromer at his word, he was recreating the 1930s, late 30s version of the stage play, which there was no costumes, there were no sets, there were two tables, each representing the Gibbs and the other family's home. George was portrayed as a child by wearing a baseball cap and carrying a ball glove, and it was done very sparingly. And the Broad is a theater very much like the Circle and the Square. It's bleacher seating.
Okay.
And I was with my wife, my daughter, and her husband, and I'd taken them to see it. They liked it. I don't think they were as moved as I was.
Hmm.
And do you know the play? Howard,
Yeah.
Howard Town.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
At the point where Emily returns from begs to return from the dead for one day.
Hmm.
And the cemetery was portrayed as it should be, as folding chairs
Right.
with the chair. Um, she returns to life, and at this point, at the end we're sitting on it's an oblong rectangle. I'm sitting on the short side rectangle, facing the stage at an angle.
Okay.
The other side of the room, there's a curtain, and the curtain is in it. You don't notice it because it's a curtain. It isn't there. And as she rises to her feet from the chair and steps toward that curtain, the theater itself is filled with the smell of bacon. And the
Huh.
curtain opens, and what you have behind that curtain is a completely realized, perfectly art directed kitchen circa 1905.
Wow.
And her parents, in period costume, are having breakfast in the kitchen, and her mother is cooking bacon on the range. And I lost my shit. I just completely lost it.
Okay.
I was destroyed. And it was
Huh.
the first of several times where my theater going companions presumed I was having a stroke.
Huh.
And I cried piteously because it was a brilliant piece of theater. It just destroyed me.
Okay.
I almost
Okay.
have I'm thinking about it now.
Ah, that's lovely. That's beautiful.
I'm a big weeper. I should explain.
I mean, that's probably a pretty good thing to weep to. I weep to Dumbo, and the Wizard of Oz.
I can't watch Dumbo because that DC sequence, the delirium tremens sequence, gives me the fucking creeps.
Okay, how about the Wizard of Oz? Because that makes me cry too.
The Wizard of Oz. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, so I started watching it annually along with Peter Pan early on. So it's lost its impact on me. For example, I hate Wicked. I
Okay.
regard Hadestown, for example, is Wicked for heterosexual old people. Uh,
Yeah, I don't talk Wicked with anybody because it seems to be a hugely beloved, and I haven't seen it, to be honest. I think I've seen a little bit of the movie, but I'm kind of an Oz purist, and even Judy Garland doesn't really fit into that. So,
one of
um,
the reasons my grandson is a theater kid, and I'm taking. I mean, I've taken him to New York for his birthday twice now. Next year it's London, and one of the reasons I love him so is that he hates Wicked as much as I do, which
amazing.
I mean, my boy, So
Why do you hate Wicked?
because it's lumbering, stupid, and patronizing. It's like the worst American comics are. You
See,
know,
yeah. I definitely want to talk about that, but
did you not like the MGM picture?
oh, the Wizard of Oz. Oh no, I adore it. It's just, I mean, it's its own thing. It's like Earth One and Earth Two.
Would you have rather seen Shirley Temple? Would you have rather seen Deanna Durbin?
No. Garland. I mean, that's Garland at her peak. I mean, I mean, Meet Me in St. Louis is pretty fucking amazing
Yeah,
too.
no,
But
for me that's it. Meet Me in St. Louis. It's one of the few films that I keep in my DVR in my DVR queue. It's
yeah,
always there. Whenever I want to hear something that's going to make me despairing.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. Oh, that movie makes me cry too.
also because it's about a level. If you dig into the movie, it's about a level of provincial. It's a subtextual provincialism that is shocking in how glibly it states itself.
Yeah,
People opt to remain primitive as opposed to moving forward in their lives.
yeah. But Margaret, what's her name, destroying snowmen is also pretty poignant.
I explained to my wife that in those days tricks are trick or treat meant drill tricks.
That's a great sequence too, Mr.
Really.
Browhurst, whatever his name is. So tell me about let's talk about. I want to talk to you about humor for a second. Then I'm going to make this about me, just for 2 minutes.
I, I love talking
Um,
about.
Nah, but I will. So when I grew up at DC Comics, essentially, I was a teenager when I arrived there, and I had this bizarre idea that I could draw humor at essentially a superhero place, and so there were a lot of people who treated me very nicely, and there were a lot of people who kind of looked down on me, and thought like, oh, that's so sad. You draw humor. You're not a real comics artist. I remember telling an editor there that I'd gotten a great job, that I was designing the entire model pack for the new Woody Woodpecker show, and their response was, "Oh, like that," and I'm like, "That's a great fucking job. What's anyway?" But you never treated me like that. I mean, you
Well,
always treated me like I was just like just anybody else. And so what?
go ahead, finish.
No, no, no. You're a funny motherfucker. Like maybe it's a prejudice on my part. Like I sometimes can't see like where the two come together, where humor and this romanticism of like violence comes through.
not violence. It's gravitas. I mean, I
What's
mean,
gravitas?
Gil Kane was was no- was a snide, unpleasant old Jew like me,
Okay. Okay.
and he dismissed much of the work that came out of comics in the 80s and 90s as mistaking gravity for enormity. And
Okay.
I tend to agree. I mean, that, what Peter that line in Mel Brooks is my favorite year, that picture where Peter O'Toole goes, dying is easy, comedy is hard, and it's true. I mean, and I was a golden age collector when I was a little boy, and
Okay.
it's actually an affordable hobby. Okay. I had great runs of detective, action, and Batman that I never
Wow.
paid $3 a pop for, and they were all very fine to mint. In those days, it was money.
Sweet.
And I did not collect Marvel because they were so shitty. The timely books were just terrible. But I didn't know about the quality books.
Hmm.
I didn't know about Eisner. I didn't know about Louis Fine. I didn't know about Jack, about Kotsky or Cole or any of those Reed Crandall. I didn't know they existed. I didn't know about them. I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't discover Eisner until those two Harvey 25-cent Spirit books. Came out in '66. It was.
Wow.
And had I known, I would have gone there, because when you see the Plastic Man, is the log line on Plastic Man. It's thrills, chills, and laughs. That's my meta. That is my metaphor. That is my motto. And I'm a great believer in that. It's just like,
You would do a kick-ass Plastic Man. Oh my God, that would be fucking amazing. You don't,
not even.
you don't think so?
Not even.
Anyway, I'd like to see it, but regardless, whatever.
I mean, the reason I don't like, the reason I have, when I started in comics, I wasn't good enough to do superhero comics. I wasn't good enough to do anything, but I was filling pages. And by the time I got good enough, I realized I was simply a journeyman in service of this work. I couldn't really bring anything more than a sturdy professional enthusiasm to the production.
Okay, I disagree with some of that.
Unless I was given free reign to fuck with this shit,
Okay. Okay.
And fucking with the shit was really all I cared about,
I mean, that's where the good stuff comes.
My Batman Black and White story was actually is a fairly funny story, because it's basically Batman is a straight man to a guy who's allowed his own pet peeves to turn him homicidal.
Right.
I mean, I completely reject law. Law is just bullshit. It's imposed upon us by our leader, by our rulers. Rules, on the other hand, are really an imperative of our existence. Rules are the contract we make amongst ourselves.
Right.
And I have, people talking in movie theaters, people driving at the speed limit in the left-hand lane. You don't trust me on this. People who cut lines,
Right.
Just get the fuck out of here and die and taste your own blood. Leave your shopping cart in a parking space. You are dead to me.
Okay. Okay.
Best I see them leave handbaskets in a parking space. That's the best. So I did, and again, I mean, I gave Batman some funny lines, but the editor removed them explicitly.
Why?
At one point, it opens with a woman having been stuffed into a shopping cart, because not only did she leave her shopping cart in the parking space, she also got on the 10 items or less line with 15 items.
Okay.
So the guy, we've all done that. And the shopkeeper, it was Key Foods, by the way, asks
Quality.
Key Foods.
That's good.
Asks Batman whether the outfit is comfortable. He says, "I abjure comfort." and the guy just couldn't go there.
Yeah.
So the humorlessness of comics drives me absolutely batshit. The need to validate and justify this moronic crap. I mean, let's face it, as I've said more than once, Batman at its core is about a rich guy who had a bad day when he was 8.
Right.
And enough. It's like,
yeah,
I like funny shit. I mean,
yeah.
while I was working at Marvel and DC, what I was reading were the undergrounds, and I've said more than once, I'm too mainstream for the weird and too weird for the mainstream.
I was thinking of that myself, because the mainstream doesn't really want to talk to me, and the underground doesn't really want to talk to me. I mean, right. If I found a Harvey guy, I would probably have a field day, but or an Archie guy or something like that to talk to. But and it could quite be, Howard, that I've purposefully kept myself out of those things, that I feel most comfortable as an outsider. It's interesting, because you have such wit, and yet you're working in kind of a a man boy medium in a sense.
Well, I mean, look, as I've said more than once, nothing offends me, but my feelings are easily hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with most modern social culture today is that one is taken for the other, and those are two very, very separate ideas.
Yeah.
And I like. I mean, I'm not. People, oh, you're so funny. I'm not funny. I'm clever. I'm
yeah.
I couldn't put together a 5-minute set.
Right.
I mean, that's not my world. I mean, I'm reading an Atlantic piece right now about Judd Apatow. I mean, I regard Apatow as the positive as opposed to David Wayne as the negative. I mean, I love modern comedy. I truly do. I watched all of Chris Hardwick's At Midnight, then got introduced to all these young comedians, some of whom I followed, some of them I don't. I'm not much for comedy stand-up. It just doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking to find something comic and laugh. I mean, I just, I watched a show from about 15 years ago from Britain that sounded great and just was packed with talent that I really love, that just lay there like death. It was just very obvious.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for something.
Yeah.
And I love Ali Wong's work. I just really do. She's so fucking vulgar. And the last thing that made me laugh out loud on a regular basis was Big Mouth.
Okay.
You watch Big Mouth?
No?
You should watch Big Mouth.
Okay.
Big
I
Mouth.
don't,
Listen up.
nothing's funny on TV to
Well,
me.
here's something that is. Big,
Okay.
Big Mouth, eight seasons, I think.
Okay.
And Nick Kroll and Andrew Goldberg,
Okay.
uh, John Mulaney playing Andrew Goldberg. And one of the most charming things about it is that it's about children going from early middle school to high school into puberty, surrounded by monsters
Okay.
that are visible only to them. And Richard Kind is on it. Fred Armisen, who I don't find it particularly appealing, but he's very good here.
Okay.
Ayo Edebiri is on the show. And basically, the thing that I find most challenging and most charming about it is that the character that Nick Kroll plays is an incredibly cruel caricature, graphic caricature of Nick Kroll.
Okay.
That confidence is so profound that he's allowed this to be. It's a
Hmm.
great show. It really
Okay.
is. It's
I'll
genuine.
look into it. If Howard Chaykin says look into a show, you should look into a show. I will look into
Looks
it.
like a cartoon show, but
Okay.
it is filthy and vulgar and brutally funny.
Okay. Let's.
David Thewlis, Maya Rudolph. It's fantastic.
Wow, that's a pretty awesome cast. Let's talk about something from the past that I might remember. What made you laugh as a kid?
I was never a Stooges guy.
Okay.
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 I didn't get it. I mean, I
Even to this
just
day, because I had to like acclimate to it. No.
no, I never warmed to it. I mean, I'm fascinated by them as people, as
Yeah.
characters in the world in which they functioned.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, when I got turned on to silent comedy, I didn't get Chaplin because I found him, he wanted me to like him too much.
Yep.
Whereas I love the deadpan nature of Buster Keaton.
Yep.
I love
Yep.
Marx Brothers.
Yep.
I mean, berserk for that. Also, I was a huge fan of Two Real Comedy.
Yeah.
Not Abbott, Laurel and Hardy,
Yeah.
Pete Smith Specialties, with
Wow.
Dave O'Brien,
Those are deep
Bobby
dives.
Clark and Paul McCullough.
Okay.
I never.
Those
Yeah,
they're not funny, but there are two reelers. Clark and McCullough.
I love Clark. Oh, I love Clark. Are you kidding?
Oh my
Clark and
God.
they were. I think what it comes to, you're right though. They aren't funny, but they are so surreal and so completely out there that
Yes.
you
It's
know.
like it's fascinating to watch, but it's
When
not funny.
you see Bobby Clark after McCullough's death, appearing
I've
as a
never
singer.
seen him after his death. Yeah.
Oh, he did mostly stage work.
Yeah.
Um, did a lot of burlesque. He did, This is burlesque and stuff
He
like
finally
that.
got a pair of glasses that he could actually
No,
wear.
no, no. He continued to paint them on.
Oh, I
That's
thought maybe somebody
that.
here,
No, no,
you might want to
no,
use these.
no. That's what's so perfect about it. He continued to draw them on his face.
That's
That's
just sad. An older, aging
no,
man drawing glasses
no.
on his
It's
face.
perfect. It's
Okay. All right.
it is so completely acceptance of character.
Okay. All
You
right.
cannot step away from it. I mean.
I'm going to see it your way. This is great. I'm learning things, Howard. This is
And again,
amazing.
I mean, McCullough's death is one of the great moments. You know how he died, right?
Well, first of all, the poor man didn't get to say anything for like years.
Well, yeah, he was in an insane asylum. He was committed in Massachusetts. He spent a couple
I
of
thought he killed himself on stage or something.
involuntarily committed. He
Okay.
was released on his own recognizance.
Okay.
Left and stopped to get a shave. And in the middle of the shave, he snatched the razor out of the barber's hand and slit his own throat and bled to death in the barber chair.
Right.
You gotta go.
No, that's funny. That's comedy. That's if you're gonna go, that's a pretty dramatic way to go.
And in terms of not outside of the movies and television and everything else, I love Patrick Dennis, Max Schulman,
Okay.
Jack Douglas.
Okay.
When I discovered Jack Douglas as I was like 10 or 11. My aunt had a copy of My Brother Was an Only Child and Never Trust a Naked Bus Driver. And they were just like, holy shit, this guy writes like I think. I mean, I'm pulling out of my garage only 3 days ago. As I'm driving, pulling out, I said, Toynbee Doob, former turtle. Just, I mean,
Jesus Christ, you were a literate kid. What? How many books did you have? Like, what? Like, who was I had shit. I had.
I was really lucky that godmother of mine led me places, showed me things, indicated stuff. Take a look at this. Go look for this.
Okay,
Uh,
wow.
and and I don't know who turned me on to Patrick Dennis, but Dennis has just destroyed me. I think the first Dennis I read was First Lady, My 30 Days Upstairs in the White House,
Okay,
which led me to Little Me, which led me to Auntie Mame, The Joyous Season, Guess What Ho. Um, and I love that stuff. I
okay.
mean,
Hmm.
yeah, McCulloch kills himself in a barber chair. Patrick Dennis retires from writing, goes back to his real name, and spends the rest of next 20 years of his life working as a butler.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck?
Man,
Uh, and I
that's
love
like my
Max,
dream.
Barefoot Boy with Cheek, Dobie Gillis, the many loves of Dobie Gillis.
Yeah.
The TV series is the novel and the TV series are completely different, but I love
Yeah.
both
Okay.
unequivocally. When
Okay.
I saw the episode when the two of them are drafted, and there's a pan shot of Maynard who's now a sergeant in the army, and they pan down the line of his unit, and they all have goatees. I just lost it. Oh,
All
I'm in
right.
hell.
So you're watching
Jack
TV.
Douglas. Jack Douglas was a guy who wrote for Jack Parr and Steve Allen, and he had the most absurdist sensibility. If you've never read his work, you owe it to yourself to see this stuff. It's fantastic.
I have the books. I mean, I have to get to them. I haven't.
Patrick Dennis.
No, Patrick Dennis is new to me. I don't know that.
Take a look at Little Me, which was turned into
Okay.
a really fun musical. With the original cast was Sid Caesar playing six
Yeah, I know
parts.
it as a show. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Recent revival was Faith Prince, who was a great Adelaide, by the way, from Guys and Dolls, with
Okay.
Jerry's, and Martin Short playing all six parts. It was fantastic. It was at the Roundabout.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was great. Really good.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I totally, I feel like, I'm one of those people that just completely lives in the past, but you seem to be straddling like today and, years ago. Yeah, I'm one of those people who like can't find anything funny post 1978.
But that's nonsense. There's tons of great shit.
I
And the real,
agree. I mean, these are the stupid prejudices in my head. I should like try more.
there are very few network sitcoms that appeal to me. I really loved 30 Rock. I love Parks and Recreation. I love Modern Family. Modern
Okay.
Family that held on to its mojo forever. It used
Mm,
its brilliantly,
mm.
and I just loved it. I I wish I never became a fan of The Office, either the British or the American version. It didn't interest me very much. I couldn't
Okay.
get in. But I like a lot of Apatow's stuff. I really do. I thought 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up were pretty good.
Okay.
Um, I I'm not a fan of David Wayne. The Wet Hot American Summer stuff. It's too obvious and too over. It's just not. I'm nah, nah. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I like that. A lot of those stand-up comics that showed up on At Midnight are but people like. I love, like Steve. What's his name? Who's on Peacemaker? I forget his last name. Ali
Yeah.
Wong, Moishe Kasha, whatever his name is, who's married
Okay.
to the Dame. Ricky Lindstrom. Holy shit! You know her work?
No.
Oh, oh, oh. When we're off, you've got to Google Ricky Lindstrom's music videos.
Okay.
Two things in particular. She does basically she plays the Baroness from The Sound of Music and,
Okay.
and sings a song about telling Captain Von Trapp to go fuck himself. It is staggering. It is brilliant, just phenomenal. And then
Okay.
she does a thing about being middle aged called Let's Fuck. That is just you've got to see this woman's work. She was part of a comedy team called Garfunkel and Oates.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
It's less interesting to me than the work she's done on her own.
Okay.
Um, these videos are staggeringly good. Trust me.
Okay. Okay. All right. I get you. Yeah. I'm really impressed with your knowledge of not just things of today, but like your knowledge of comedy. I mean, that's pretty cool. And I've always thought like,
I was when I saw Dream On, the TV series,
yeah,
Dream On, where John Landis figured out a way to use all those Universal clips.
yeah.
That was me. I was planted in front of a television set when I was 5.
Okay.
Television informs me profoundly, deeply.
Yeah.
The first thing I ever saw on the television set belonged to us and our family was the second half of a Cisco Kid episode. So I watched Abbott and Costello, Amos and Andy, December Bride, I married Joan. Boom, 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 boom. You know, I mean, the only thing I didn't love particularly was I Love Lucy.
Really?
I just found it unappealing and phony. Whereas I love December Bride,
Who was in December Bride? I've never seen that. I don't think it was
December
ever.
Bride, Burt Kelton was the co-star.
Hmm.
Who was the, and it was where Harry Morgan broke out on TV. Harry Morgan played a character who would show up and do a monologue every couple of episodes, standing in a doorway about Pete and Gladys, but his unseen wife played, whose name was Gladys. He would talk about Gladys. He did a
Okay.
series of Pete and Gladys, which died after a season because they
Okay.
unfortunately cast an incredible hot redhead to play Gladys, a woman named Cara Williams, who looks like she was drawn by John Whitcomb, and she has been drawn by John Whitcomb.
Okay.
But so I mean, I was obsessed with this shit. I mean, again, I love the Little Rascals. I was on the line to see the Ten Commandments, right, at the road show.
Okay.
Commandments had finally gotten to local-ish. It was still in a big deal. I was at the Loews Pitkin, which in those days was this massive, classic, Alhambran movie palace.
Uh-huh.
And it was a Saturday or Sunday matinee for the kids, and there was all kids in the line to see the Ten Commandments.
To see the Ten Commandments. That cracks me up right there.
1950. This is, it's a big deal. So I'm sitting there, and up the line of all these kids is a story of Alfalfa Schweitzer dying, and we're freaking out.
Uh-huh.
Alfalfa's dead. None of us knew at the time that he died in an aborted heroin deal. Shot by a dealer. But yeah, I mean, it was a really big deal. The Little Rascals. I loved the Fleischer Popeye stuff, as you are well aware. I just loved that shit so much. And I used to watch. I watched the Terry Toon Circus every Sunday night on Channel 9 with Claude Kirshner, who was a cunt who would always tell our parents, "Now it's time for most of you to go to bed." Fuck you, Claude. I'm staying up. And every couple of months, I'd watch it religiously because every couple of months they would show one of the Fleischer Superman cartoons.
Ah, wow.
VHS time was like, oh my god. And I love Jay Ward stuff. Just killed me, just destroyed me.
So,
but when Fractured Flickers came on with Hans Conried,
fuck.
I mean, Dinky Dunstan, boy cheerleader. I mean, The Adventures of Harry and Ozzie. This shit. I mean, I'm 75 years old next week, and I'm still remembering this shit from when I'm 10. It's amazing. It's like a pushpin into a corkboard.
So where did like your career path come from? How did you choose I'm going to draw Iron Wolf? Because you could have written, it's not, and there's not bad or good. There's nothing that went wrong or anything.
I never saw any path but that.
Okay.
I mean,
you didn't think I was going to write the great Broadway musical?
I had very small ambitions. Well,
you knew what you wanted to do.
I was raised on welfare by a single mom with two other brothers. We discovered later in my mid 40s that we have three different dads. Okay. My mom was a bit of a round heel. Okay. And all I ever wanted, I discovered comics at the age of 4, the same year the Comic Code Authority was imposed.
What were you reading?
I wasn't reading. I was 4 years old. I was put into a box. I climbed into a box of refrigerator box half filled with comic books that were given to me by my two older cousins. Wow. And I had a Saul on the Road to Damascus moment. I can still bring the smell of that paper up as a sense memory. Okay. And I realized, A, that somebody made these, and B, I wanted to be that somebody. And I was able to read on a 4th grade level within a year, having taught myself to read from these comics. My parents were morons and presumed that I was some sort of genetic anomaly, and never understood. My mother died having no idea what I do for a living, so I've never forgiven her. She on Satan's rotisserie for all I give a shit. Yeah. I don't forgive without apologies. And it must be earned. And but it's all I ever wanted to be. And I had no talent per se. I had hunger and anger. I was a raging little fuck with nowhere to put the rage. And I got the shit out of me a lot because I had a big mouth and didn't know how to fucking keep it shut. Okay. And I got out of those fights in many cases by drawing pornographic drawings of nuns fucking each other.
That'll do it.
What can I tell you? Irish kids and Puerto Rican kids love that.
Yeah. Where is this? Where'd you grow up? I probably know this, but
Brownsville, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brownsville, East Flatbush, and then Queens. Okay. The archetypal journey. Yeah. And when my first job was working for Gil Kane. I went to work for Gil. His assistant had dropped dead of an undiagnosed heart ailment in the middle of the night.
Okay.
And I called, said, he needs somebody. And I had nothing to offer. I'm convinced in retrospect that the reason he hired me was because I'm Jewish and that he could talk shit about other people with impunity and with understanding. Because I brought nothing to the table. He wouldn't even let me deliver work to the office because I had hair down. I looked like everybody else. I looked like a member of an Allman Brothers tribute band.
Right.
And, I wasn't going to deliver shit. So, but I learned more watching Gil work for a year than I did for any of the hands-on work I did for anyone else. And Neil Adams bullied Murray Boltinoff into giving me a job. Joe Orlando took me under his wing. And that's how it happened. And by the time I got good enough to do what they really needed, I had developed a certain disdain for what they needed. So I started doing stuff that I wanted to do, and these fools bought it. So there you go.
Right.
But I didn't get it. I didn't get any good until Shooter drove me out of the business.
But let me call bullshit, because like Neil Adams doesn't push anybody. If like, I mean, I don't know Neil, but like, why would he push you if he didn't think if you were talentless?
Because he had a God complex and he felt he could do anything to anyone.
I find this all dubious, but like whatever. I mean, like, you don't become Howard Chaykin. All right, but you don't become Howard Chaykin. I'm not talking to a Yutz.
I became Howard Chaykin by being away from comic books for 2 years and teaching myself to respect and appreciate craft and technique.
That I can
recognize the fact that I've been a lazy motherfucker for too long. That if I didn't work really hard, I wasn't going to get anywhere.
Okay.
It was the second epiphany of my life. The first one was discovering how much I want to be a comic book person. The second one was that I realized that I could not get anywhere without really working my fucking ass off.
Okay.
The third was when I came to understand that no matter how hard I worked, my definition of good and the definition of good of that of the audience were completely diametrically opposed.
Right.
And then I had to find some other income stream.
Yeah.
And that's why I left New York City in 1985, October the 6th, 1985. I might add, 40 years ago. With the idea of finding another income stream, because I recognized the fact that if I stayed in New York, I would be a blight. I would be a drag on the system, and I'd be living on cat food and Social Security.
Okay.
And I'm grateful and lucky enough that I got to work on television, none of which I'd ever watch, but which gave me a pension and real estate.
Right. Yep. These things are beautiful. This just pings into my head. Like years ago, I think one of the first times I met you, you said something about a colleague of mine. I won't mention his name. Like he'd be great if he weren't so fucking lazy. Let's talk. So where do you get your work ethic from?
Fear.
See, I get my work ethic from my parents were blue collar to the hilt. I mean, they were just like work was everything. But like explain fear.
I'm terrified of being identified as an imposter.
Well, everybody has that.
I mean, look, my parents were very blue collar as well. I mean, there's no question there, but they didn't understand that what I did was work.
Same here.
I live in a small town in California. I mean, I'm midway between Los Angeles and Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And very few people have any idea what I do for a living. When they do, they're nonplussed and puzzled. They can't. What?
Still?
What do you do for really money? What do you? Yeah. And
really,
seriously,
they're fucking huge now. I mean, that's all.
People have no idea. I mean, the misapprehension of the trickle down theory of super duper movies is ridiculous.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, you probably live in a more ritzy area ish than.
I live in a neighborhood that looks like Coney Island circa 1955.
Ooh, I like that actually.
5 doors down from the Pacific.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
First thing I hear in the morning when I pull the earplugs out of my ears and take my sleep mask off my eyes is the sound of waves crashing on the street.
That's beautiful. That's pretty nice.
It really is.
That's pretty nice. Let me go back to sometime in the past. I'm gonna kvel for a minute. And I remember telling you that I loved your late 70s, early 80s period where it looked, I don't know exactly what you were using. You were doing things in, this might piss you off, but you were doing things in like Weird War and Time Warp for DC. And it looked like you were, I know, I think I get the face. It looked like you were using like a Sharpie or something.
Well, it's because I was basically hacking out comic book jobs to afford to work for Byron Price, which will be.
Yeah. Maybe it was part of your education. Maybe you needed to do that to get to the next.
No, I needed to get a paycheck so I could afford to work for Byron.
Okay.
That was the entire motivation behind it.
Okay, did anybody stop you? Like, Jack Harris didn't say like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what the fuck, Howard?"
He needed pages filled.
I love that stuff. I mean, the balls on that. Don't you feel like it sort of comes? I mean, look, Gil Kane was drawing in like felt tips.
Yeah, but he was good.
Oh, I don't. I'm not subscribing to this. Anyway, I mean, what the point? Like, I love that stuff. I just wanted to ask you about it because, like, I mean, I feel like.
I think you're crazy, but that's okay.
I mean, I am crazy. It's true, but and everybody has their stupid likes, and but I love that stuff, and I feel like it was a growing period for you. Like, it was just something you had to do. When I don't know, I do shit that looks like namby-pamby stuff when I have to get to the next period when I'm frightened or something like that. But it looked like you were just attacking the fucking page. Didn't Toth do that?
Yeah, but he was good.
All right. Well, that just seems to be your answer, I guess. So
It is gotta be. It's all I got. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
We'll agree to disagree on that. I mean, I mean, whatever. I just love that stuff. I just think that stuff's great. It's
well,
really, really pretty.
that's sad for you. It really is.
I mean, I have my sad moments. It's true. I should get more of a life. I haven't looked at them in a while, but I do love them. I think they're just fucking great. All right. Okay. All right. Who was like who's some of your favorite editors to work for?
Joey Cavalieri,
Why? I mean, I
because
know Joey.
he's intuitive, he's smart, and he has a wide-ranging knowledge and experience of stuff that transcends simple comic books. He's also a bit of a pussy. He's a kind of a coward, and he's which allows him to be taken advantage of frequently by people who are in no position to take advantage of anyone.
Yeah.
Axel Alonso,
Okay.
um, is a great editor. He really was.
Okay.
Um,
In what way?
he again very much he was trained by Lou Stathis, who was the third guy whose name I mentioned.
Okay.
Lou was the guy who was responsible for what Vertigo became, much more so than
Right.
anybody there, and also heavy metal.
Yeah.
Uh, Lou is one of those forgotten guys. Lou is like the Al Boasberg of comics. Um,
I remember Lou. Yeah.
and Lou trained Axel. Axel had really good ideas. I don't know where he's at right now with that new company. I couldn't care less about it. But
Yeah.
anybody who could make a transition from working at Vertigo to doing what he did within for Marvel in that time is pretty damned impressive.
Uh-huh.
The guy who's editing my stuff now,
Who's
um,
that?
a guy who is an executive in an entirely different business, who edits me in order that he can maintain his control issues over someone. And he's a phenomenal editor.
Okay.
He does it as a hobby, and I would say 98% of the ideas that he has, I mean, every idea he has costs me money and time. And 95 to 98% of those ideas are worth acting on. Can we put a stop to this for the briefest moment while I run to the toilet?
Absolutely. We are
Put a
we
ho-
are pausing. Stop recording now. Now I'm recordings in progress. Now I'm down to my we're off Virginia Graham, and now I'm down to my Merv questions. Who besides you inking you do you like? Who's do you feel like inked you well?
Nobody. Well, I mean, I think people have saved my ass because I
Really,
don't know
who?
I don't know how to pencil. I have no idea how to pencil.
That's because you're a
Okay.
cartoonist. You're going to ink it yourself, so it's
I
like,
have no idea how to pencil for someone else to ink. When I look at a guy like Wrightson or Starlin, their pencils are so explicitly tight.
hmm.
I have no idea how I can do that. It's beyond it's beyond my skill set. I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah,
For,
yeah,
I mean, I draw and I keep erasing and cleaning and polishing and whiting and paste. Just
yeah.
my original have weight. They have sculptural.
So do our crumbs. You've seen Carmine Infantino's pencils, though, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're all over the place. Yeah.
yeah. Well, because Robert draws in ink.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Who else? Gene Colan's pencils were always all over the place too.
Stuff so much. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
I know this puts me a world apart from most of my colleagues, but I don't get Colan at all. He was a lovely man. I
Yeah,
love
I
him.
never met him, but I like
Yeah,
his
work.
earlier. I like his early superhero work.
I like his love stuff, but his super stuff
That
just
stuff's
did not.
really pretty. Yeah, I mean, I just as a storyteller, it feels a little bit loosey goosey. But that's probably being
His characters are always tipping over. There's no
okay.
um, there's no sense of order or design to the work at all. It seems to me.
Okay.
I like structure and organization.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Who is like who are your top like comics artists ever?
Ever
Ever, ever, ever.
comic books.
Comics.
Alex Toth, Wallace Wood, John Severin,
Okay.
and Johnny Craig.
Those are great. Those are great choices. John Severin, John's storytelling. Oh, I mean, he's amazing. I can't. Like I couldn't touch the hem of his boots or whatever. But his storytelling always felt a little stiff to me. Always
I
felt a
like
little.
that. I find that formality really appealing.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. And who wait, I have one more question, I know. This is a good one. Um who is an artist that you or a writer that you didn't like as a child, but that you appreciate their work now?
It's always the same guy. Everybody has the same answer. It's
What's
always the same answer.
what's this?
Actually, in my case, it's two. Well, it's Mike Sekowsky. It's always Sekowsky.
Oh
It's
my God.
everybody hates Sekowsky as a kid, and then you get old enough and you realize the guy's pretty damn good.
The guy's
Uh,
pretty damn good. I didn't hate him as a kid. I just was like, this is off-putting, but I'll keep reading it, which is a pretty good sign.
I mean, for me, Ross Andrew, I loved Ross Andrew's work on Wonder Woman and the Metal Men when I was a kid. Because I mean, those I didn't realize that what I was reading with these completely batshit Robert Kanigher four martini lunch scripts. But I loved the work, and of course, I outgrew it when I got older. And it was Gil Kane who said, "You got to slap that shit, start looking at that stuff again." I began to really appreciate Ross. I fear that the problem with most people today looking at Ross Andrew's stuff, they're seeing it through most of the work he did on Spider-Man, all the work he did at Marvel, which is for most part pretty uninteresting hack work to me.
Uh-huh.
But the work that he did in the early 1950s, the stuff that he did with S. Peter for themselves,
Mhm.
their Mad knockoff Get Lost was certainly far and away the best graphic imitation of Mad anybody ever did. My
Okay.
understanding is that it pissed Gaines off so much that he said they'd never work for EC,
Wow.
and they would have been a perfect match for anything at EC. They would have been
Okay.
great with it. And then Kanigher scoops them up and busts the union, the attempted to at organization, at collective bargaining, and
Mhm.
he brings Andrew in and Kubert in. Kubert was at St. John, and Andrew and Esposito were up their ass in debt from their collapsed publishing empire, and he built a stable for DC's books.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and those are handsome books too. They look pretty good. What do you remember? What was do you remember like a cultural difference between DC and Marvel in the 70s?
Oh, sure. I mean, for me. I mean, I was first a Mort Weisinger guy, and Jack Schiff, the Batman Superman stuff at DC. And
Yeah.
when I got older, sophisticated, I began to see the value of Julie Schwartz's stuff, the stuff that he was editing with Gil and Carmine and Alex to a certain extent and Kubert.
Yeah.
I mean, I still regard the 6 issues of Hawkman that Kubert did for Brave and Bold as canon. There's nothing else that exists in that with that character that has any merit to
I
me.
agree. Yep.
And I discovered the Marvel stuff when I was at summer camp. Somebody had the first couple of issues of Spider-Man, and I was like, holy shit, where did this stuff come from? This was like, oh my god. I mean, I was aware of Kirby, but because I've been a fan of the Double Life of Private Strong,
Okay.
and the Fly, the wide angle scream,
Yeah.
and this was just like I'd never seen anything like this work, and it just
Yeah.
killed me. And I bought a guy's entire run of what they had for like a dime each, and began my collection. I love the Marvel stuff, and I don't know about you, but I was always part of a comic book group. There were a bunch of other guys who read comics. Jan, Alvin, and Michael.
Wow.
And I remember trying to convince Michael of their value, and it wasn't what broke the ice to convince Michael Abramowitz to move from DC to Marvel was an issue of Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos. I mean, again, how can I remember it? It's like over 60 years ago. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
Sergeant Fury talking to one of the Howling Commanders saying, "What do you want me to do? Give you a kiss?" He thought that was talk about your fucking old coward hilarity. He was just on the floor. this destroyed this young Jew, you know.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm not in touch with any of these guys anymore. One of them is still a friend of mine on Facebook, and I never hear from him.
Okay.
And you know, but I was just a Marvel junkie, completely obsessed with the work.
Okay.
Uh, you know, but
But you
again,
ended up at DC.
because Marvel wasn't hiring, because Stan, for all of Stan's, you know, hey, we love those college kids. He hated kids. He did not like children at all. He
Yeah.
was much, you know, hanging out with guys who, you know, drank scotch, smoked cigars, and went and ate meat.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
It wasn't really until Roy took the reins that guys under the age of 45 were getting hired at DC at Marvel.
Right. Roy brought in Barry Smith and stuff like that.
And Frank Brunner, because he couldn't get rights in.
Right.
And you know, I mean, Stan basically did a raid on Dottie Woolfolk's staff. That's where all the guys who made the bullpen, Ramita and Colan, Don Heck, and Buscema came over because they were doing love stuff for Dottie.
Right.
And you know, I did 2 jobs for Dottie. They were just terrible. But you know,
In what? Do you remember? Okay.
Recipe for Romance, I think was one of them was called.
Cool.
And her assistant editor was a guy named Ethan Morton.
Okay.
He was the most buttoned down guy I'd ever seen it. I mean, he was suit and tie at a time when people were literally skipping the suits and ties. And Ethan becomes the single greatest writer on modern American musical theater I've ever read in my life.
Huh.
His decade by decade history of the American musical theater is a must read for anybody who pays any attention to this work.
Oh, holy shit. That's amazing.
And Gil Roth has been trying to get him on the show on his podcast for years with no success. He will not speak.
Okay.
He's got to be 80 now, you know, I'm figuring.
Right.
But I first became aware that he was actually someone other than an assistant editor, Dottie Woolfolk, when I bought a copy of a book for the cover, a Gary Kelly illustration, that he was sort of following in the footsteps of Armistead Maupin, you know, the gay novelists. And it was just, I mean, I never read the book, but this guy, wow. So
that's amazing. Is that your earliest?
What's that?
Is that your earliest work for?
Oh no, my earliest work was for Murray Bolton and for Joe Orlando. You know, before that, I'd ghosted a strip for Wallace Wood.
For
Woody
what?
Some Western bullshit. For the Overseas Weekly, a newspaper that he packaged strips for.
Oh, okay.
Vaguely smutty, R-rated comic strips.
Okay. What was Wally like to work for?
Woody was a drunk and difficult, and the best thing about it was that he hired me on. He installed me in a studio where he was renting space to Jack Abel and another guy whose name I will not mention. I have mentioned it before, but I won't now.
Okay.
And I sat there, and the first day I realized that Jack Abel spent his entire day occasionally working, but mostly fucking with this other guy. And within 2 days, Jack realized he had a henchman in me. So the entire run I was there with Woody for about 6 months was nothing but me and Jack Abel fucking with this guy.
Wow.
And it was, Jack Abel, making Jack Abel laugh was one of the missions that I had in my life and experience. I would make him publicly laugh by being inappropriate quietly without anyone knowing how inappropriate I was being. And he would laugh. I mean, I would ride home on the subway with him back to Queens every now and then. And I would say something that would make him laugh so hard that people would be moving away from him. It was really
wow. I did not expect Jack Abel's name to come up in this conversation, but
that was one of the, I mean, not much of an artist, but one of the best people I've ever known in my life.
That's cool. That's cool. I liked his work as a kid. You know, I haven't looked at it in quite a while.
My shit in the late 70s. So what the fuck do you know? At any rate, Jack was, everybody loved Jack.
Okay.
And he was just hysterically funny, musically very well informed.
Okay.
And was stunned that he met someone of my age who knew all that old comic shit, you know, comedy stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I happened to be in New York when Drew's artwork for old Jewish comedians was on display at the Society.
Okay.
And I love Drew Friedman's work. But I also fault him dramatically because of his obsession with this utter junk. But at the same time, his dismissal of other people's obsessive junk. You know, it's like Philip Roth in baseball.
Yeah.
You know, Roth is obsessed with baseball, but holds anything that he regards as beneath his dignity with contempt.
Right.
And I follow this myself, but I try not to. But you know, Jack was deeply steeped in this work.
Okay.
And that, and old vaudeville, or burlesque shit, all that stuff.
Okay.
What made me laugh. I love the Honeymooners.
Oh
Um,
man, that's where I know Pert Kelton from. I think I've seen. No, no,
right,
no. That's not where I Pert. No, I know she was on the Honeymooners. If she was the first
right.
Alice, right?
She was the first Alice before it became a series.
Right. But I know her from 30s movies or something like that. She's a
Yeah,
great wise ass.
yeah.
It's amazing that she wasn't more famous.
Spring Byington was the lead on December Bride. I love Topper. When I read Stephen Sondheim's Finishing the Hat, which is his annotation of his lyrics, I was delighted. I never no idea he'd been a staff writer on Copper.
No, I didn't know that either. Wow.
I mean, and I'm sure he didn't do it, but my favorite all-time episode of Topper is when Henrietta enters a contest, a serial jingle contest, and the ghosts engineer it so that she wins by throwing out all the other by doubling up and it was everyone loves individual oats. It's the cereal everyone votes for. I mean, to this day, I mean, the only impression I do is Leo G. Carroll.
That's not a bad impression to do. That's pretty good.
I see my Leo G. Carroll.
Yeah.
Like to see and hear it. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. This is your big
Marion
moment.
George, Marion George. That's the entire.
Wow, that is the best Leo Carroll I think I've ever seen. That's amazing. I'm touched. I'm physically I might have a moment here actually. That was beautiful, Howard. Speaking of old Jewish comedians, let me ask you, and you don't have to answer if you do you feel like you brought up Judaism a bit in this conversation. Do you feel like it affects your work? Do you feel like it somehow
Absolutely.
how
I
so?
mean, I've always been obsessed with Yiddishkeit. It's in that way. I mean, back in the 70s when I was still fuckable, and I'd be invited to Halloween parties, I would always show up. My go-to costume was a well-tailored suit, a mummy mask, which was lumping in plastic, which cost $1 at John's bargain store, and a
Right.
container. I would introduce myself first as a blintz, and then take the mask off, put the thing down, and said, "I'm the Jew from the future." So yeah, it's always been there. But after I'm an October 8th Jew by so many different circumstances because although I have no particular affinity for Israel, no love for the country, no particular interest in it, I remain rock bound to the idea that whatever's happening there is being used as an excuse
Uh-huh.
to justify the awakening of Jew hate in this country.
Uh-huh.
And
Mhm.
and I recognize the fact that I feel a justifiable paranoia in that coolness. I mean, Joey Cavalier referred to me as a disaffected leftist. I am indeed a disaffected leftist.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, if we do such a fucking fine job of running media, how the fuck are we losing the advertising and publicity promotional battle against this bunch of terrorist motherfuckers? That's astonishing to me.
It is astonishing. Hardly anything makes sense to me now. To be frank.
I should be fasting today, but I had a cup of coffee and a really good bagel this morning. So
You know, you got to do what you got to do. What can you say, Howard?
deeply unobservant, but I'm also a member of the club from which I cannot resign.
Yeah. And I was raised Catholic, but I still feel like I'm more the member of that club than of
Take it away from me. And that recovering Catholic bullshit, you never recover.
Oh no, not ever. But I identify as Jewish just by the fact that I come from New York City.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, we, Guidos and Kikes, we are,
There you go. That's
you know, Goombas and Jids. We are stuck.
that should
There's,
be like the story of comics. Goombas
you
and
know,
kikes.
it's like what's his name? Um, well, I mean, as I said in Hey Kids Comics, I have, Ted Whitman refers to comics as a place where Jews fuck over other Jews, right? I
Uh,
mean, it's the way
uh,
it.
yep. Yeah, there's probably other places where that
Well, yeah,
happened, but
the show business.
yes, yes. And we've had our share of both. I This has been lovely. It's always nice to see. It's always
Watch this. Watch this moment. Watch this.
what's happening.
Watch this. Here it is. Here it is.
I'm
Hold
gonna
on.
watch.
My beautiful wife walking through the room.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Be patient. There she goes.
Ah, that's nice. Nice.
Walking. Now she's the light of my life.
Nice guest. Oh, well, I'm so happy. That's awesome. That's all. Yeah, actually, that's the second wife to make an appearance because I did speak to I spoke to Bob Rozakis, and his wife made an appearance. She gave him a
I
flashlight.
was never married to Bob Rozakis or his wife.
No, I think I know that. I think that's true. I'll write that in the show notes just so that's clear. Howard, you're just like the best. You're one of my heroes, and it's good to talk to you. It's always fun to talk to you. Well, when are you? I mean, yeah, you gotta. I'll stop the video now, but we'll talk about because when I should see you if you come into New York.
I'm going to be in New York the week between Baltimore and Cincinnati. Where do you live?
I live in the city. I live way uptown.
Way uptown. All right, I'm going to be staying in Midtown. Why don't we
We'll,
have breakfast?
we'll do a thing. We'll make a thing.
Have
That's
breakfast. Breakfast is my availability because the rest of the time is literally taken up with babysitting an 82-year-old guinea, as a matter of fact.
That's what I'm shooting for, man. Being an 82 well, I'm already halfway there. Anyway, I'm gonna stop the recording now. You're the best, Howard. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. Great, appreciate for being here.
Absolutely. Hold on. I never know. Here we go. Stop.